Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel for that matter, if you're brand new here, and thank you for taking your own time to check out this episode, which is episode 12 of Back to the Fans. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, I will leave a link in the description box where you can go check out a playlist and catch up on all the goodness of Back to the Fans. Now today is a very special episode, simply because today I was originally going to, as part of my Michael J. Fox filmography, do a separate video on why fans love Back to the Future. But I had a couple of responses, but maybe not as many as I did the YouTubers one. So instead I decided to compilate kind of all the videos I got into a special Back to the Fans episode. And with that, I've got 4 awesome guests joining me today. We've got Sylvester, we've got Charlie, we've got Joseph, and we've got Fernando. 2 guys making return to the channel, and also 2 brand new folks joining me. So before we hit into today's episode of Back to the Fans, as you can see from my t-shirt, I am supporting, as always, the Back to the Future Club Argentina. Now, if you buy anything from their website, a portion of the sales do go directly to the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which is simply awesome. But you can also get yourself some kind of cool swag, like t-shirts. They've got plaques, they've got handmade kind of like Playmobil statues you can buy in there. You can honestly buy all sorts of the Back to the Future Club Argentina, and I've supported them quite a lot by showing them off in my videos, but also I've bought at least 4 or 5 t-shirts from them, and I just love that the work that they put in, and they're a very dedicated channel and also a platform for any Back to the Future nerd. So if you haven't already, check out their store in the link below and go get yourself some goods on your way. So back to the episode, and with Back to the Fans episode 12, we've got some very special videos. So firstly, I'm going to hand it over to our first guest, Charlie, to tell everyone why he loves Back to the Future, because he also does a lot of cosplaying as Marty McFly, along with other characters, but also he's seen the musical quite a few times. So he's going to tell you why he loves Back to the Future, and why, if you can, check out Back to the Future, the musical.
I've been a fan of Back to the Future since I was really young. It just stayed with me ever since I saw it on TV, and I think I had a VHS tape, so we were always watching it. It was a big part of my childhood, but the things that stuck with me the most were the story, the cast, the music is just amazing to me. And especially in the first film, going back to the 50s, I've always been a fan of 50s music anyway. So the fact that Marty goes back to the 50s is something that's really special and is dear to me in my heart. So yeah, that, and you know, the fan community that comes with the films that we have now online, which is something that's really special. We have forums and Facebook groups, and so it's really nice to be able to connect with other fans around the world, and whether that's through cosplaying, so I do cosplaying, or replica props and things like that. So that's something that's really good now, is that we can connect with other fans around the world. Recently we've been visiting the musical here in London, so that's really cool to meet up with other fans, and again, we cosplay, and it's just so cool to kind of really look deeper into the films, and we chat before and after the show, and it's really nice to meet cast members as well, and also we have some of the cast from the films also visit the musical, so that's really fun. So I'm sure I'll be heading back to the theatre again soon. I've been in quite a few times, so such an amazing show. Like, it's just blew everyone away that I've taken to see it, meeting up with other fans, and then some people coming from really far up north, some people coming over from Germany, and you know, it's always great fun to see people travelling far to come and see the musical. So yeah, it's just amazing. It's just a brilliant show. The cast, the music, again, what they've done with it is slightly different from the films, but it's got that same storyline going all the way through, and I promise you, anybody that's thinking about going, don't be afraid. You know, I was afraid at first because I'm a big fan of all 3 films, and you always think, oh, what are they going to do with this? But I highly recommend that everybody goes and sees it, and I promise you that you will leave and you will want to come back and see it again. So go and see it.
Always love hearing his thoughts, and I have to agree, if you get a chance to check out the musical, I 100% recommend it, because it's a definitely homage and love story to the original Back to the Future movie. So Charlie, thank you so much for taking your time out to record that video, man, and loved hearing your passion throughout in that video. Next up, we've got an awesome person called Sylvester, who I've actually met at the opening of Back to the Future, the musical in London. And he also does a cosplay as well. He does Marty McFly, he does Doc Brown, he does Bttf Tannen, he does a wide variety, and he's got a very unique video package put together. So let's take it over to Sylvester now and hear what he has to say about Back to the Future.
Next Saturday night, we're going to send you back to the future. Back to the Future Part 2 is easily my favourite film. The future stuff was great, but what really caught my attention was the going back to 1955. It blew my mind to jump back into the first film and see everything from a different perspective. However, Doc's explanations of paradoxes and destroying universes did leave me confused on first viewing. It gave me a headache. And the last thing you need is headaches. But it was part 2 which brought me back to the first film, which I hadn't taken much notice of previously, and now I was ready for it. Ready? A few years ago I started going to conventions and meeting other fans. Some of us dress in cosplay and reenact old scenes, or inspire each other to create new ones. What more could I want? Hey, all I want is a Pepsi. Then the musical came along, and that brings even more fans together. It also gives us a deeper insight into the characters' inner thoughts and feelings, which the original films cannot express in the same way as a stage show. And the music, singing and dancing, how should I put it? It works. The future is back, and we love it.
Sylvester is such an awesome guy, and honestly I can't thank him enough for taking the time out to appear in Back to the Fans. Love having you on to the channel for the first ever time, and hopefully we can maybe do a separate episode in the future. But yeah, Sylvester has a huge passion for cosplay also, and his cosplay outfits are very unique, and his own different style of recording himself, maybe saying an iconic line from Back to the Future, is heavy. But yeah, Sylvester, thank you very much for taking your time. So next up, we've got a brand new comer also to the channel who has got a Facebook page called Back to the Future Universe, which is all dedicated to Back to the Future. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to check out the page and join the group also. It is fastly on the rise, and one of the co-creators, we've got Dangerous Bob and we've got Joseph. So Joseph is appearing onto the channel right now, and I want to actually hear from him as to why he loves Back to the Future.
Let's see, I first fell in love with Back to the Future back in the late 80s, and I was only 6 years old when I first seen the movie. And they were showing it, it was on television one night. And what really caught my attention with the movie was the DeLorean time machine. I mean, that was my favorite character. I just thought it was the coolest car I had ever seen at the time. You know, later on, I developed an appreciation for the cast, the storyline. But it was the DeLorean time machine in the very beginning for me. I mean, and I said to myself, you know, one day I want to own that car. And I still have that dream to this day. I'm actually working on getting the money to buy a DeLorean and have it converted. As you see up there, I already got a flux capacitor and a few other things, but the movie is a perfect movie. I mean, I don't know any other movie that has the chemistry as Back to the Future does. I mean, here we are, 2021, and we're still, you know, all these years later. Back, actually, no, 2022. I'm sorry, we're still all in love with the movie like it was just made yesterday. You know, I mean, it's just it's an incredible thing. You know, it's not just in the United States. I mean, it's loved all throughout the entire world. You know, I mean, I run the Back to the Future Universe Facebook page with Dangerous Bob Whitten, who was the prop master for the movie, and he can tell you that we're just getting bigger and bigger all the time. I started that group in April, and in last April, and by this April, we're probably going to have 2,000 or more so members, and again throughout the entire world. So, you know, but for me, it was always the first movie, and That's pretty much it.
So, Joseph, I've just got to give you a big thank you for taking your time out in your room, I think it was, where you were, and all the different memorabilia and like different collector's items and stuff that you've got. I would love to see more of the collection, but man, I just love hearing about why you love Back to the Future and what it actually means to you when it was like you growing up, or whether it is now, and how many times you've seen it respectfully, and then starting this Facebook page. It's just an admiration there for you, man, and really respect your opinion and loved hearing from you. And Joseph may be on a future episode of Back to the Fans as well, solely, so you just have to wait and see for that. And last but not least, we've got the awesome Fernando making a return to the channel, but this time, Fernando's got a bit of a different experience from us, because he's not sat down in his room, he's not actually at home at the moment, but in this video, he's actually on a trip. He's currently in Los Angeles, California, in Universal Studios, showing us all about Back to the Future and also the Back to the Future Museum. So let's check out Fernando's portions and let's experience this journey together.
When I was a child, I was in shock when I saw the first movie, and it was amazing. And now I'm living this here inside the Hollywood Museum, and there are a lot of props, merchandise, and some original things from the three movies from the trilogy. So it's great to be here. It's great. It's so exciting. I'm so shocked with all the scenes. I've been collecting a lot of things, especially from the first movie. But this is amazing. This is something that I never believed I could live in. So see you in the future. From the Hollywood Museum, Back to the Future exhibition.
They had Back to the Future 4 with a circle, a slash, through the Roman numeral 4. We said what we wanted to say, we've done what we wanted to do with the characters. We went back to the well and
Back to the Future 3, the hero car.
I'm so honored to be here and tribute to the most talented singer on the planet. My guy is a little singer
yes, people keep asking for the so you talk to them, it's just pretty nicely captured.
One day, I hope to make it over to Los Angeles to get to see the Back to the Future Museum. Wow, honestly, what an incredible, awesome place that would be. And also the gift shop in the Los Angeles Universal Studios looks amazing. I would be spending a lot of my money there, let me just tell you that. But I've also just got to thank every single one of my guests who's took part today. We've got Charlie, we've got Sylvester, we've got Joseph, and we've got Fernando. Truly, really, really appreciate all those guys taking their time out to be a part of this episode of Back to the Fans, episode 12. If you would love to take part yourself, leave a comment below. I will leave a link to my social medias in the description box if you want to get in touch with me, and I would love to put together an episode of Back to the Fans and showcase you and your collection onto the channel. All the links to Back to the Future Club Argentina will be in the description. Back to the Future Universe Facebook group is also in there, and Fernando also has a YouTube page called Expedition to the Future. I will leave a link to that below if you want to subscribe to him. And lastly, I will leave a link to the Back to the Future musical if you want to book your tickets also to see the performance. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.